Hello friends! Here we are with another installment of Cinderella Phenomenon. We started on Rod's path, which is really exciting. I'm super interested to see how everything is going to pan out with me being in the palace this time. Very exciting. So, let's get cracking! Chapter 4, One Step Forward. Alright, exciting. It has been more than a week since Rod and I returned to the Marchen. He has been avoiding me ever since that day. Not that we have much cause to be around each other nowadays. I am constantly on my feet preparing for Emmeline's ball. This is ridiculous. Better to be busy than bored, princess. I actually say that all the time. It's one of my lines that I give people at work. Rather be busy than bored. Stop for a moment to better balance the pile of fabrics that I am carrying. One of the maids has ordered me to bring this to a designated room so that it can be sorted out. I am being reduced to a fetching and carrying, and I have made no progress on accomplishing my first good deed. I doubt that simply following orders from the other maids will help me get my first good deed. I feel a shuffling in my pocket and then notice Delora peeking her porcelain face out. She's like a puppy. Better to obey, and rather than disobey at least. You're not going to get a good deed being stubborn. Anyway, you've got to pull yourself out there a bit more, princess. You can't just do whatever's convenient for you. That's not good. Delora has been no help at all. Wait, I recognize this place. Isn't this where your room is? I stop in front of the door to my old bedroom. Ever since I came here, I've been ignoring this room, not wanting to see what the king did to it during my absence. Do you not want to go in? Of course I know what it is. Why should I? It's not as if it's my room anymore. Oh, you're no fun. Aren't you curious about how it's changed? I would be lying if I said that I wasn't. I guess a little peek would not hurt. Exactly the same, just like I knew it would be. I step into the room and close the door behind me. Ugh! It is like stepping into the past. The room is exactly as I left it. It seems completely untouched. Oh, magic! Moments later, Delora is standing before me in her human form. It looks like someone's been dusting in here. Strange, considering no one should remember who this room even belongs to. I glance around, eyes wide. Everything looks the same. I put the fabrics that I am carrying down on my bed and make my way to the shelf where my dolls are displayed. My eyes pause on a specific doll. Okay, which one is that? This one was not here before. Delora raises an eyebrow. Maybe you just don't remember that one because she wasn't very memorable? You do have a lot of dolls, after all. I don't think that's right. You do have a lot of dolls, after all. No, I know each of my dolls by name. This one is definitely new. She looks very similar to the dolls I saw at Viorica's shop. I quickly turn at the sound of the doorknob. My eyes move to Delora, but she has already turned into a doll and tucked herself into a corner of the shelf with the rest of my dolls. Emmeline stands in the doorway, eyeing me curiously. April, what are you doing here? I made a mistake and thought I was supposed to bring these fabrics here. I hope she does not see through my lie. Emmeline shakes her head, smiling. It's not your fault, April. You're still getting used to the palace and its many rooms. I got lost here all the time when I first arrived, too. This room is interesting, though. Father expressly ordered that it be kept clean, but otherwise undisturbed. Why would he say that? He won't say why, but apparently this room is very special to him. Maybe it belonged to someone he cherished. Cherished. What a joke. Aw, it's kind of hard being back in pre-character development version of the princess. It's hard. She's so sad. Still, I cannot help but feel hope at her suggestion. I don't think Father would like either of us being in here. We should leave soon. I only came here to put a ribbon on one of the dolls. One of the dolls? Yes, I put one of my dolls here. She walks past me to pick up the doll I did not recognize. I bought this. I know Emmeline always visited Viorica, but I did not think she liked dolls. She always preferred receiving and buying books, so why does she have this doll? Do you like dolls? Well, I mean, I don't mind them, but I don't usually buy them for myself, no. So why did you buy this one? Emmeline looks at the doll with a sad smile and shakes her head. I'm not sure. I bought it as a gift. I remember that much. I was going to give it to someone who liked dolls, someone I wanted to befriend. I don't know why, but it feels right to leave the doll here until I can remember whom I was meant to give her to. It was for me. Emmeline is silent for a moment before she turns to me with a bright smile. I know you have a delivery to make, but could you come with me to the palace entrance first? Mother is still busy talking with the cooks, so the fabrics can wait. All right. I resist the urge to glare at her. She better not be dragging me around to do yet more errands. I'm expecting a delivery and I might need your help. I thought so. I have no choice but to nod. Of course. I begrudgingly follow Emmeline toward the entrance, and there I see the delivery carriage. A familiar person stands beside it. Viorica! Aw, there she is! Emmeline pulls Viorica into a tight hug. I turn my attention away to glare at the number of boxes at the back of the carriage. I will no doubt have to help carry them inside. How are the preparations for the ball coming? Emmeline's smile seems forced at first, but then eases into something softer. It's going well, I suppose. How about the wedding? Desmond and I have finalized the date. It will be 2 days after your ball. Aww. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress. These two always talk so much when they get together. I ignore their chatter as I walk up to the carriage to observe the boxes piled inside. What is in the boxes? Oh yes, so last time I had a theory that maybe Rod had a crush on Viorica, and that's why he was so standoffish when we were in the shop. Oh! Viorica reaches out to grab one. She hands it to me. I'm helping with the ball decorations. I came by with part of the order today. Part of it? Careful, it's a bit heavy. I take the box from her hands and nearly stumble. This is heavy. Emmeline should have the male servants do this. Hey, feminism! Anything you can do, I can do better. Queen Ophelia placed quite a large order. I brought the more fragile decorations first. Oh, the glass baubles and vases. I grit my teeth as I shift the box in my arms in an attempt to make it easier to hold. I thought you worked at a toy shop. Yes, but we also have aisles dedicated specifically to party decorations. What kind of toy shop is that? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of one like that. April, will you be all right? I feel annoyance simmer within me. I am obviously not all right. Emmeline reaches out to help me with the box, but she is too late. I have only taken one step forward when the box slides and I stumble. I manage to cradle it in my arms, but its weight is too much for me. Before I hit the ground, I feel strong arms around my waist, pulling me back upright. The box is taken from me. Oh, really? Rod? You would describe his arms as strong. I mean, okay. He looks a little weedy to me. My heart and mind are racing, and for a moment I cannot comprehend what has just happened. Are you all right? Rod. I glance to the side and am shocked to see Rod standing there. The expression on his face gives nothing away, but with our eyes With our close distance, I can see some flicker of emotion in his bright eyes. Concern. I am... April, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Rod pushes me and I stumble forward, almost tripping on the ground. He raises an eyebrow at me. Know your limits, April. I glare at him as anger begins to bubble in my chest. Now see, I feel like I need to be, like, I'm a servant right now. It's not my place to tell him off. And he did just help me. I feel like he's kind of overcompensating for being nice to me. So we're gonna stay silent. I clench my fists and take a deep breath to try and calm myself. I will not stoop to his level. He is the one being cruel here, not me. Hey! Look at that. Made a right choice. You shouldn't have stubbornly tried to carry something that was too heavy for you. I will not take responsibility if you get hurt. Rod, you shouldn't be angry with her for trying to help me. It was my fault for giving her something so heavy. Viorka, what are you doing here? Rod's voice is still cold. Viorka looks startled by his tone. See, I think he has a crush on her and now she's getting married. I only came to deliver some of the decorations for the ball. And you thought Emmeline and her maid could carry these things on their own? Rod, this is not her fault. I am the one who chose to bring April with me. I underestimated the size of the delivery. Viorka was just delivering the supplies. At least she admits her mistakes. I never thought Rod would be so stubborn. Emmeline's expression softens as she looks at her brother. She looks sad. Rod ignores her and picks up the box that I had been carrying. He begins to walk away before he suddenly stops and glances back at me. Come on. Come on? Rod? We're gonna call some servants to carry these boxes in. He turns around and begins to walk away. I am Emmeline's personal maid, not his. I glance at Emmeline, who nods her head. I really am sorry. Thank you for helping my brother, April. She's so nice. I curtsy ever so slightly before running after Rod. I like her. Rod, wait! He picks up his pace, as if trying to lose me. I turn the corner and barely stop myself before running right into Rod's back. What now? Why are you so angry at me today? I have barely even spoken to you. Your mere presence is enough to darken my mood. I glare at him and cross my arms. Funny, you call me cruel, but right now you are worse than I ever was. I don't need someone who hasn't even managed a single good deed to lecture me. Low blow. I have to try very hard to resist the urge to slap him. You were supposed to help me get a good deed. As I said before, I never agreed to this. I still refuse to help you. Rod starts walking again and I hurry after him. I cannot help but recall how cold he was with Viorka earlier. I thought they were friends, but he treated her like this at the toy shop too. Why were you so angry with Viorka earlier? No reason. He has a crush on her. He has a crush on her. I raise an eyebrow when Rod quickly answers the question. Then you were cold for no reason? You have such a princely disposition. Rod frowns, but has no rebuttal for my words. You must be generally cold and unfriendly. Excuse me? That would explain why you treated Viorka as you did. I had thought that you two were childhood friends. Viorka was always closer with Emmeline than with me. We may have been friendly once, but we've since become distant. Distant? It is none of your business. I pause as we pass by my door, remembering that I left both the fabrics and Delora inside. I make my way toward the door and open it. What are you doing? None of your business. Enjoyed your field trip? I frown when I see her sitting on my bed in human form. What would you have done if it wasn't for me? Us witches have a sense for these things. Delora? I love her. I love her so much. Rod slowly enters the room. gosh. It is nice to see you here, Lady Delora. Nice to see you too, little Sebby. Why are you here? Oh, Sebby, that's the rabbit, right? Oh my god, it's been so long since I played Chapter 1. Delora shrugs as she inspects her nails. I thought I would help the princess here, since someone doesn't seem very willing. Rod furrows his eyebrows at her. I didn't... Yes, I know. You didn't sign up for this. But do you really think you have a choice, Rod? Delora looks at Rod pointedly. You know the consequences if this fails. Rod looks away, expression conflicted. Oh my gosh, is she talking about the Tenebrarum? Consequences? What are you talking about? Consequences for not helping me with my curse? Rod sighs heavily before turning back to Delora. He does not pay attention to me. I am not the right person for this. Doesn't matter what you think. The princess thought you were, so suck it up and do your job. Ugh. Rod is silent for a few moments before he finally faces me, looking resigned. I will help you then, but don't expect me to change my opinions of you. I shrug at him. It's not like I was expecting you to in the first place. Delora grins with clear triumph. Good talk. Rod sighs. In order to achieve your good deeds, you're going to need to mend what you broke before. I feel like I already know what he is going to say. My sister has always wanted to be your friend, so you must do just that. Show her kindness and you may be able to get your first good deed through her. Show her kindness, huh? Yeah, be her friend. She's a nice girl, and I like her, and she got you a doll, little missy. Delora decides to stay in my room for the time being, saying that she believes Rod will be able to help me from now on. Later, I make my way to the dining room, with the fabrics, and see Emmeline and Ophelia inside. April! Ah, I see you have the fabric. Thank you. Ophelia takes the topmost sample of fabric and begins to inspect it as Emmeline walks up to me. Where's Rod? He returned to his studies. Oh, right. He has history lessons today, and I am yet to finish my history homework, which is due tomorrow. As Emmeline muses aloud, I ponder what Rod had told me earlier. I must become Emmeline's friend, but is that really a good deed? I hope Rod didn't send the servants out before he went back to his room. I wanted to tell him that Bjorka and I had already called on guards to bring the boxes inside. Maybe he decided to start his lessons earlier so that he could make your dance lesson this evening. Dance lesson? Father wanted to hire the best dance instructor in Angiel, but I honestly feel more comfortable with Rod teaching me. Aww. He's a good dancer, so Father has allowed it. Wow. That is a surprise. I didn't know that Rod could dance. Me neither, girl. He used to prefer singing, but then... Ophelia trails off. I know that she is talking about the fairy tale curse, but I do not expect her to divulge such information to a maid like myself. He's decided to focus on his dancing for the past few months. Ophelia glances down at the fabrics, then looks up and smiles at me. April, would you mind helping me with this? I obediently walk over to the fabrics Ophelia wants me to look through. They are apparently samples for the tablecloth that will be used during the ball. This is going to be a long day. All right. Rod comes immediately to the throne room after his history lessons to start on his dance lessons with Emmeline. You know, I still don't quite understand his fairy tale curse, because it's supposed to be something about his voice going away, but he talks still. So, I mean, I hope I'm conveying the best I can through the voice I've given him, but I'm not really sure how it all works. Maybe I'll learn more. I am only standing here because it is my responsibility as her personal maid to watch over her as she practices. I watch as she steps out of rhythm and Rod sighs at her. You're doing it wrong. That's the 10th time. Sorry. Again. Oh man. They start from the beginning and I am unable to stifle my own sigh when Emmeline messes up the same step again. This would make the 11th time. Well, then go back and review it with her. I really am terrible at this. Would you rather have the royal dance instructor teach you? He has more experience teaching than I do. Oh no, I really want you to teach me, Rod. I'm sorry that I'm such a slow learner. You were always good at everything. Singing, dancing, cooking. Prince Rod cooks? Yes, Rod does cook. He's very good at it. You didn't have to tell her that, Em. Does it really matter? I love bragging about how talented my little brother is. I see a tinge of pink in Rod's cheeks as he turns away. Oh, he's so cute with the little pink tinged cheeks. Is he embarrassed? Emmeline looks down at the floor, her smile smaller. I wish I was as talented as you, Rod. I had always thought Emmeline was overly optimistic. She always seemed to bounce back with a smile, no matter how many times I pushed her away. Now I cannot help but reconsider that thought. Still, seeing her like this only irritates me. Pitying yourself will get you nowhere. Not everyone can be perfect at everything when they first start out. I remember when Mother gave me similar lessons. She was always such a harsh teacher, and she hated when I showed weakness in front of her. She made me keep practicing until I had perfected whatever it was she wanted me to do. Failure was never an option. I never had time for self-pity. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, just try harder. Let failure inspire you to do better. April, that was... She's right, Rod. Instead of complaining, I should be working harder. I let out an exasperated sigh and crossed my arms. Oh, come on, princess. You always look at your feet whenever you reach the underarm turn. Instead, focus on counting your steps and let Prince Rod lead you. Worrying too much on your next step is what puts you off rhythm. Emmeline stares at me. Can you dance, April? I can. I can't. Why? Wow, that's amazing. There's nothing amazing about my being able to dance. Her praise makes me embarrassed regardless. Maybe I can learn faster seeing someone else do the dance first. What are you talking about? She wants me to dance with him. It might be easier to copy the steps if I can have someone perform them first. She turns to me suddenly, eyes bright. Would you help me? I am meant to assist Emmeline in any way that I can, but dancing with her brother? Surely a lowly maid should not be doing with this. Absolutely you're accepting. Well, if I do accept, at least I can prove that I am the better dancer than Rod. Besides, I'm supposed to be listening to Emmeline, no matter how absurd her requests are. If that is what you want. Really? Emmeline rushes up to me and takes my hand in hers. Thank you, April. I thought it might be an awkward request, but I'm so happy you've agreed to this. I turned to look at Rod, who was glowering at me. I am not dancing with her. She might step on my feet. Emmeline gives him a disapproving look. Rod, please? Rod eyes me warily. I step toward him and offer my hand. Shall we? Rod scowls at me for a few moments before finally taking my hand. Ooh, look at us dancing, and I'm in my little maid outfit. I put my hand on his shoulder and he places his hand on the small of my back. Rod looks at me but quickly averts his gaze. Is something wrong? I didn't think I would ever have to dance with you is all. Neither did I. Rod looks at me again. This time he has an uncomfortable scowl on his face. He is not the only uncomfortable one here. Oh man. We both start dancing and I mentally start counting the steps. It has been a long time since I last danced with anyone, but the steps come to me naturally. The dance is rather simple. I may have made a wrong choice here. I mean, I don't feel like I made a wrong choice for myself, but I haven't seen the little jewel. So, whoopsie-doodle. While Rod and I move stiffly, I cannot help but notice his careful footwork. I realize that Rod really is a pretty decent dancer. Of course, I would never openly admit that. When we stop, I hear Emmeline clapping her hands as she looks at the both of us in awe. You really are a good dancer. Thank you so much for showing me the steps. Now I know for sure what to do during that part. I just shrug at her before stepping back into the corner. Oh, come on. Say you're welcome. Be nice. Emmeline takes her position in front of Rod once more. This time she has a bright smile on her face. I cannot believe something as simple as that has made her so happy. At the end of the day, Emmeline has managed to do the steps correctly. She tells me many times how grateful she is for the help. After practice, I return to my room and retire to bed. I think about how happy Emmeline was. How can such small things make a person so happy? Oh gosh, I really did make a wrong choice. I haven't seen the... Aw, man. Darn it. You stepped out of rhythm again, April. But Mother, this is really hard. A princess never complains. You must perfect this waltz by tomorrow, otherwise I will not allow you to play with your dolls for the day. But if you have time for objections, you have time to push yourself harder. Now once again, from the top. Oh look, there's this little portrait. The following days are uneventful. Emmeline continues her dance lessons with Rod. Her steps are still far from perfect, but I can tell that she has improved since my demonstration with Rod. Meanwhile, Rod still chooses to ignore me most of the time, though I have noticed that he is less cold than usual. At least he does not snap at me for no good reason anymore. Though Delora is no longer assisting me, she insists on staying in my room more often. She says that there is something important she wants to investigate, and I cannot even guess what it might be. I prefer not having her around anyway. Her constant chattering makes it difficult to focus on anything. Right now, I am still trying to figure out how I can achieve my first good deed. Almost 3 months have passed since I was first cursed, but I have yet to complete my first good deed. These are my thoughts as I head back to my sleeping quarters after dinner that night. Emmeline excused me long ago, insisting that I go on to my own room before she went to hers. I'm walking down the hallway when I notice Rod heading down a familiar path. I follow after him. Are you going to the Marchen? Ugh. Rod jumps and turns around. The surprise in his face quickly fades into annoyance. Don't do that again. And no, not today. Since I came here, I found out that Rod occasionally sneaks out of the palace at night through the secret passageway to go to the Marchen. Even now, I am still confused as to why he goes there. He said before that he had given up on breaking his curse, which makes me wonder why he still visits. It also makes me wonder why he would refuse to break his curse in the first place. Is he okay being the way that he is, or is his curse just really difficult to break? Why were you cursed, Rod? Yeah, I want to know that. I am not answering that question. Why? I cannot help you break your curse if you refuse to tell me anything. I told you before that I do not need your help. But I chose you as my partner. You help me and I help you. It is highly likely that breaking Rod's curse will also count for a good deed. Rod scowls at me and crosses his arms. I'm afraid that isn't how this works at all. The sound of footsteps keeps me from coming back with a retort. We both turn to see Sir Alcaster approaching us. Prince Rod, good evening. Good evening, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster turns to me and raises an eyebrow. Shouldn't you be attending to Princess Emmeline? Rod silences me with a look. He moves to stand in front of me, shielding me from Sir Alcaster's gaze. We were just about to go to her. Let's go, April. Rod strides away, and I quickly curtsy to Sir Alcaster before following after Rod. I can still feel Sir Alcaster's eyes on my back as I walk away. I try my best to suppress a shudder. Rod and I walk through the hallway in silence. Oh, it's so stressful. We both stop in our tracks when we hear the clattering of silverware. I look around and realize the sound has come from behind a set of doors that is slightly open. The dining hall? Oh no! Emmeline! That's Emmeline's voice. Sorry, guys. My eye's itchy. We do not see Emmeline when we enter the room, but there is a dizzying array of cutlery set out on the table. Emmeline surprises us both by crawling out from beneath the table. She flashes us an embarrassed smile as she gets to her feet, holding several forks and knives in her hand. What are you doing here? You should be getting ready for bed. Sorry. I eye the silverware on the table. I thought I could practice before I sleep today. It has already been an incredibly long day for her, and she is still doing this? I watch as Emmeline puts the cutlery back onto the table in the wrong places. You need to rest, Em. I will, after I practice the placement one last time. She smiles at him before returning to the table. I don't know why a person would need so much cutlery. 1 fork, 1 spoon, and 1 knife should be more than enough for any meal. And all these glasses. If I recall correctly, this one is for water, this one is for red wine, and this one is for white wine. Point out her mistake or give her the... Okay, now this one feels like a matter of tone, because both of these are kind of the same thing. And I'm supposed to be being nice to her, so I'm going to give her the correct answers. The flute is for champagne. The other is for sherry. Oh, right. But there are 2 more. The other is for juice, and the other glass is for dessert wine. The dessert wine glass will only be used during the dessert course. And the juice glass is only used when juice is being served as a course. Otherwise, it is placed next to the water goblet. I see. I see Rod staring at me out of the corner of his eyes. His lips twitch before he turns back to his sister. It looked like he was about to smile. Yes! Smile for me! Yes! Right decision this time. Back on track. Then what are these for? Emmeline points out the group of forks in front of her. You use those every day, Your Highness. You should know the answer. Emmeline points at them as she rattles off names. Dinner fork, fish fork, salad. Correct. You know so much about etiquette, too. You're really incredible, April. You make a better noblewoman than I do. Even if I told her I was noble, it's not as if she would believe me. I just read a lot about these things. All of these things. You read and know enough to put them into practice? That's amazing. Especially since you haven't even been with us so long. Right, Rod? Rod shrugs. He does not, much to my surprise, disagree. Perhaps you should be my teacher, April. I can learn so quickly from you. Emmeline quickly straightens out the cutlery. Now that I think about it, I have come to realize that Emmeline is much more than she appeared to be. It is probably because I am forced to spend so much time with her as her maid. She is different. She is flawed and not as conceited and more humble than I had originally thought. Maybe I should try lending her a hand. I may not be one of your tutors, but if you need help with your lessons, just ask me and I will do what I can for you. Yay! April. I glance at Rod, who is once again wearing that expression of surprise. I shift my attention to Emmeline once more. You only have 1 month left to prepare, and as your personal maid, I feel it my responsibility to help you in whatever ways I can. April. Emmeline wipes her eyes with the back of her hand, and that's when I notice something glistening on her cheeks. Oh, she's crying. Is she crying? You were extremely kind, April. Thank you. I will definitely take you up on that offer. I am still looking at Emmeline when I catch a faint glow coming from the pendant on my chest. My first good deed! Oh, what just happened? Oh, what a pretty necklace you have, April. Thank you. Anyway, for now I think the both of us would benefit from some sleep. Aw, yay! After escorting Emmeline back to her room, I walk out into the hallway in a daze. What was that light? It seems like you managed to obtain your first good deed. Oh, I did not know he was still here. I look down at my pendant, astonished at what I see. Aw, yay! A piece of the glass slipper. I gingerly touch the new piece that is hanging next to my existing glass slipper pendant. It is real. It is real. You're not too bad after all. He's smiling. He's smiling. I win, I win, I win. Did he just compliment me? What? Rod turns away. Nothing. Aww. He walks away, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, we're leaving it here today. He smiled at me. I can't handle it. He smiled at me. I'm ready. Oh, man. So good, so good. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Feel free to follow me on the social media that I'm linking below. Catch me on Twitch sometime. I play a lot of games. Yeah, and hopefully I see you next time. Bye, everybody!